I'm Ella and I'm here with Festival of Nature at Sydney Gardens in Bath. We're here today to be talking to Marley about the work that's being done in this park and Lucy about the local wildlife. We're here with Marley Kedward, the Sydney Gardens Horticultural Participation Officer and co-founder of Natural Learners Bristol. Hi Marley.
Hi, welcome to Sydney Gardens.
Thank you, happy to be here. Could you tell us a little bit about your role at Sydney Gardens?
Yeah, so my role is to encourage participation in the park through volunteering and training sessions with a view to improve the biodiversity in the park as well.
Okay, thank you. And why are we here today?
So I'd like to show you around Sydney Gardens and to show you some of the areas that the volunteers have been working on as part of the Sydney Gardens project.
Could you tell us a bit more about the Sydney Gardens project?
Sure. So the Sydney Gardens project is a project funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund to improve the park and celebrate its history and also to work on improving the biodiversity in the park.
Incredible. Can we have a look?
Yeah, let's go and see.
Okay. So we've just come to the top of the park. Could you tell us about this beautiful space here?
So this is a great example of plants that we have planted to introduce more pollinators into the park. So we've got Nepeta and alliums and geums, and you just stand here for a moment and look and you'll see how many bees are visiting the flowers. So we plan to put more areas of plants that really do encourage our pollinators to the park.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's such variety here as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. Yeah, and it's under the beautiful shade of the ginkgo tree, which has been here for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you spoke about volunteering before, and I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts on why we need to collaborate as we maintain and protect our parks.
Yeah. So volunteering is crucial to really making an impact in our parks. You see this bed here full of beautiful flowers, all planted by volunteers. And it's making a huge difference to the amount of pollinators that we're getting in the park. And volunteering isn't just about making improvements in your park, it's also about creating a sense of community and encouraging people to get to know the people who live nearby and to create kind of lasting friendships and lasting relationships with their parks as well.
I love that. So for people listening in, hearing this, watching and wondering how they can get involved, what would you suggest as a starting place?
Well, the Sydney Gardens project is always looking for volunteers, so if you live nearby, do look us up, look on the website and have a look at the volunteering opportunities that we've got. If you don't live nearby, there are lots of opportunities around the country. Have a look. It might be that you've got a local friends of group of your park that you could get involved in. And there are other kind of conservation groups as well that have volunteering opportunities. So yeah, please have a look if you're interested.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I love what you said earlier about building a sense of community in our parks, because that is an incredible thing about our green spaces, our local green spaces, that we can use them as a space to connect and bring people together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when you just need to look around the park to see the different types of people that use the park and how it's used in so many different ways. So that's really, really valuable. So yeah.
Really valuable. And even filming here, we've already had lots of people walking past, and that's such an incredible thing that there are so many people brought into these parks.
Yeah.
And that really care.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is an example of the work that has been done. The volunteers have put their time towards these beautiful flowers, but we would love to see the work in progress, the work that's still happening.
Yeah, so let's go and have a look at one of the beds that we're working on now, and it's down at the bottom of the park.
Brilliant.
So as you can see, we're in the construction phase of the Sydney Gardens project, and behind us you can see the diggers and they're landscaping the play area And we're also having building conservation work happening in some of our buildings in the park, and a new community pavilion is being built as well. So there's lots happening in the park at the moment. And it's been a really interesting time to be running volunteer sessions, because we've really needed to adapt to the work that is happening around the place. But one area that really has been consistent is what we call the rockery area here. I've been experimenting with a no-dig method, so layering cardboard and then mulch on top to stop persistent weeds from coming through.
Ah, that's really interesting. So when you say mulch, what do you mean?
So mulch is any kind of organic matter really, so it could be compost, manure, wood chip, and mulching, you often mulch plants just to keep the moisture in, but in this case it is to stop the perennial weeds from coming through, and we've used leaf mould, which is something that we have a lot of in the parks, because when all of the leaves get blown by the parks rangers, they collect it up, pile it up, and it rots down and creates a very nice compost. I can show you another example of things that we can do in parks to help support biodiversity, so come and have a look. You can see a blackbird has found some food. So now this is an old London plane tree which needed to be felled because it had disease in it, so it wasn't safe, but instead of clearing it away, it's been left in the park, and it's become a wonderful play space and just a place to hang out. But also all of the dead and rotting wood is really important food for invertebrates, and we have beetles and woodlice and all sorts of things that really rely on dead wood. So more of this is really wonderful in the parks.
It's incredible to hear how much thought is put into the park and how you're thinking about everything, about the biodiversity of wildlife and how we can build community and bring people together. Thank you so much, Mali, for your time here. And it has been really incredible to hear how we can get involved with our local parks. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And do come back and see us and see how we're progressing. We'd love to see you again.
To help us understand the value of wildlife in our parks, we're talking with Lucy Starling, keen birder and bird listener. Hello, Lucy.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Could you tell us why you love birds?
I love birds because of their song, because a lot of songbirds have beautiful, intricate songs. Some are mellow, some are harsh, some are tinkly, some are sweet. And also nature. I'm very much into nature, the whole biodiversity. I grew up with nature in a lovely family home in Dorchester, Dorset, and there must have been something inside me that connected with nature immediately as a 6-year-old, and particularly listening to birds singing. You know, I'm interested in music, so maybe that's got something to do with it, I don't know. But birds just fascinated me from a very early age, and I just loved being in my garden and listening particularly to blackbirds and song thrushes, particularly blackbirds and song thrushes.
All right, let's have a listen. Let's go see what we can find.
Yes. There's a robin in this yew, and the robin's got quite a thin song. It's not rich and rounded, a bit more like a blackbird. And they sing all year. They have winter territories. I think the females sing as well. So you're never far, 365 days of the year almost, without hearing a robin. And I think we've still got a bit of blackbird here, which is great. Obviously birds sing very much so first thing in the morning. I think most people are aware of the dawn chorus, April and May in particular. Now I did hear a wren earlier on when I was in the park wandering around about an hour ago, and they'll sing from cover, low down, this trilling, fast trilling coming from cover. And you might think, oh, what's that? and it's a wren. Don't often see them because they are very small and they keep to cover. And one of the old kind of folklore names for wren, I think, is Stumpy, named after its little sticky up tail. So birds can be named after their song. Chiff chaff, that's a warbler, goes chiff chaff, chiff chiff chaff, chiff chaff, chiff chaff. And something like a redstart, common redstart or black redstart, is named after its red tail. Magpie, black and white. But yeah, Stumpy, one of the names for a wren.
Lucy, for someone who's new to birding and listening for birds, what is one tip that you can share?
My advice, if you want to start listening and learning birdsong, definitely start in the winter months, December, January. You might hear a song thrush, possibly a great tit, a wren, robin, and that's a good start. Get a few common species under your belt before you go on to a further larger range of birds. But certainly in April, May and June, we've got this cacophony because we've got the summer migrants with us. We've got the swallows, we've got the swifts, the sand martins, we've got the lovely warblers. And as the name suggests, warbles, they are very much songbirds. It's all about the song. These birds will live in woodland, they might live in reed beds, they might live in lots of scrub and bushes and hawthorn, so you don't often see them. So learning their songs is so important. And also, if you do listen, you will see more. You see more if you listen. But May, June, July, open your bedroom window if you're in a sort of suburban area, or certainly if you've hired a cottage somewhere in a remote part of the United Kingdom, and just listen to the myriad of sound, because there is such a variety. Don't worry about wanting to put a name to these things that you're hearing. Just enjoy it as a wonderful orchestral piece.
What can people watching from home do to help wildlife?
Well, I think, Ella, much has been said on this topic, and quite rightly so, through Spring Watch, Country File, Gardener's World. Whatever little space you've got, you can do something. As I heard, I can't remember which television programme I might have been watching recently, but make a pond and it can just be the size of a washing up bowl. Don't be too tidy. Please leave a few dandelions. They're so good for the early bumblebees that come out, and also a delightful little thing called a bee fly. Little furry with a long proboscis, lovely to watch. And spring flowers, let me think, blue-green alkanet. I think there's some in the park. People may consider it a weed, but it's so good for early bumblebees and other bees, and this bee fly.
Thank you, Lucy. I love that you're advocating for the mess, for leaving a patch just to grow wild. I love that. Do you want to show us about?
I think I can hear a goldfinch. Not far away. It was singing a bit more loudly about a minute or two ago. So the goldfinch has got this lovely red on the face, this bright yellow wing patches. They love Niger seeds, sunflower seeds. I get them coming to my bird feeders. So they are quite a common bird in suburban gardens now. They're certainly, I think, somewhere in the top 10 of the big garden bird watch, the RSPB Big Garden Bird Watch, that thousands of people take part in. What's that? No, I've got robin. I can hear a distant cooing of a wood pigeon. The robin is still in this view. I think the goldfinches have moved off. Obviously, we're now about 12:20, so in the afternoon the bird song does wane. They're at their most vocal first thing in the morning, and then other birds like robin and blackbird will start up again later on in the afternoon. No, the goldfinches are up here. They're this way. So the goldfinch has got a sort of tinkly song, chirruping, tinkly, wheezy, quite high-pitched, a bit kind of all over the place, seemingly unstructured. But if you listen carefully to it, you'll hear a bit of chaffinch, so you know that they're related. That's the art of listening and learning, and that's the fun. Yes, there's two two males singing. Song is all about territory. You know, hey, you get off of my cloud sort of thing and come live with me and be my love. So it's all about territory and mating.
Brilliant, Lucy. So what bird would you like us to try and find?
I think, Ella, let's try and find the goldcrest, which is the smallest bird in Britain, along with its close relative, the firecrest. It's got a little song, often sung from conifers. It breeds in conifers, and the can't do the pitch, but the rhythm is like eddy 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 diddly dee, eddy 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 diddly dee. It's very high pitched, so let's see if we can find one, because I have heard them this morning. I have just heard a great tit. That's a good one to start learning with, along with the dunnock and the blackbird and the robin and the song thrush. Teacher, 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 teacher. Very bell-like. Teacher, 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 teacher. They can deliver their teacher, 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 bell-like two-note song quite fast, teacher, 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 or quite slow, bit laid back, teacher, teacher, teacher. And they can also throw in a bit of individuality and go teacher-cha, teacher-cha, teacher-cha. But the tone is very much still a great tit. Very strong robin now singing in this holly.
Thank you so much, Lucy, and thank you for sharing that really important message about the power of nature for our well-being. Thank you for your time. I've learnt so much, and I'm sure that everyone at home has as well.
Ella, it's been my absolute pleasure. Nature is good for us, and we should in turn do nature good and help it thrive.